1, 2. The automatic doors slammed open, and a wave of cold air and panic rushed into the emergency unit. Paramedics shouted over each other, rolling in a stretcher at full speed. On it lay a girl, young, beautiful, motionless, her long hair tangled around a pale face that looked drained of life. 17, female, cardiac arrest after car crash, yelled one of the medics. The room flooded with the smell of blood and disinfectant. Nurses scrambled into position, doctors snapped on gloves, and the monitors began their steady beeping. Filling the air with urgency, Alex, the youngest orderly on the night shift, pushed through the commotion to steady the stretcher. He wasn't supposed to look too closely, wasn't supposed to think. Just move, lift, clean, obey. But something about her stopped him cold. Her wrist was limp in his hand, and under the harsh light of the operating room, he saw something strange beneath her skin, like ink trapped under flesh. It wasn't a bruise. It was too sharp, too deliberate, forming a faint circular mark with 3 thin lines slicing through the center. He blinked, thinking it was a trick of the light, but when he moved his hand away, the mark seemed to pulse faintly. Once, twice, like a heartbeat trying to escape. His throat tightened. He'd seen that symbol before. On a photograph his brother once showed him. His brother Daniel, who'd worked at the same hospital before dying suddenly in a work accident just months ago. In that picture, the symbol was carved into the neck of another young woman, someone who'd died during a secret medical transfer. "Move," barked the surgeon, jolting Alex from his thoughts. The team surrounded the girl, cutting away her dress, attaching wires, checking vitals. "BP is dropping. Get the defibrillator ready," someone shouted. The room buzzed with precision, but Alex couldn't shake the crawling sensation under his skin. Her pulse was faint but present, and every time the monitor beeped, the light over her chest flickered as though reacting to it. He swallowed hard, pretending to focus on the equipment. The name on her wristband made his stomach drop. Elena Vasilyev, daughter of Viktor Vasilyev, the billionaire who owned half the hospital's research division. Alex had only heard rumors about the Vasilyev Foundation's private experiments, the kind that involved unregistered patients and locked doors in the lower levels. The surgeon's voice sliced through the air again. "Get her ready for induction." The anesthesiologist prepared the syringe and the girl's breathing grew uneven. Alex's heart pounded in his ears. He took a step closer, watching the strange mark pulse again, faintly glowing now as if warning him. No one else noticed. No one ever did. But Alex knew, deep down, that this wasn't just another emergency. Something inside him whispered that if they proceeded with the operation, they wouldn't be saving the girl's life. They'd be erasing it. The anesthesia needle hovered inches above Elena's skin when Alex's voice cut through the air, trembling but loud enough to stop the room. "Wait, don't sedate her." The words echoed, sharp and unexpected. Every head turned toward him. The lead surgeon, Dr. Kornev, lowered his scalpel, his glare slicing straight through Alex. "Excuse me?" Alex's palms were slick with sweat, but he forced his voice to stay steady. She's not under yet. Her pulse isn't stable. Look at the readings." The heart monitor flickered, erratic, then leveled again. The surgeon frowned, but gestured for the anesthesiologist to pause. The tension in the room thickened, the air heavy with judgment. "Who are you to give orders here?" Kornev demanded. "Get out before I—" But before he could finish, Elena's eyelids fluttered. Just for a second, but it was enough. Alex froze. Everyone did. Her lips moved, barely parting, and a faint sound escaped. A whisper, strained and terrified. "Don't let them take me back." The anesthesiologist gasped and dropped the syringe. The heart monitor spiked violently. Dr. Kornev stepped closer, shaking his head in disbelief. "Impossible. She's in cardiac shock. She shouldn't." But he didn't finish. The strange mark on Elena's neck began to glow faintly, a dull red light pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. The nurses backed away instinctively. "What the hell is that?" one of them whispered. Alex's instincts screamed at him to act. He reached out and pressed his fingers against the mark. The pulse under it was too strong, too alive. "She's fighting something," he muttered. But before anyone could react, Elena's body convulsed violently. The lights above them flickered, the monitors blared, and for a brief second, a deep mechanical hum filled the room, as if it came from inside her. Then, silence. Elena went completely still. The red glow vanished. The surgeon regained his composure first. "Get him out of here," he snapped, pointing at Alex. Two orderlies moved forward, but Alex didn't step back. His voice was shaking now, almost desperate. "You can't touch her. You don't understand what's happening." "Enough!" Kornev roared, his eyes wild. "She's the daughter of Viktor Vasilyev, and if she dies because of your interference, you'll never see daylight again." The room spun. Alex's thoughts flashed to his brother. Daniel, whispering to him months ago in a quiet hospital hallway, "If you ever see the mark, don't let them take the body." At the time, Alex thought it was paranoia. Now he knew it was a warning. A loud alarm blared suddenly, the emergency code for cardiac arrest. Chaos erupted again. As the team scrambled, Alex saw something impossible. The mark on Elena's neck began to fade, dissolving into her skin as though melting away. She wasn't dead, not truly. Something, or someone, was trying to erase every trace of her existence. Before anyone noticed, Alex turned and bolted toward the corridor. Behind him, Dr. Kornev shouted for security, but Alex didn't care. His heart thundered as he ran down the dimly lit hallways, past sterile walls and locked steel doors. He clutched the ID card his brother had given him before he died, the one marked Basement Access, Restricted. Whatever was happening to Elena wasn't just medical. It was something far darker, and Alex knew there was only one place in the hospital where the truth could be hiding. Alex tore through the maze of sterile corridors, the echoes of his footsteps chasing him like ghosts. Red lights flashed overhead, signaling lockdown. He could already hear the distant thud of boots, security guards mobilizing, barking orders through radios. He turned a corner, swiped his brother's old keycard, and slipped through a heavy steel door just before it sealed shut behind him with a hiss. The air in the basement was colder, dense with the hum of hidden machinery. The walls here weren't the clean white of the hospital above. They were gray, concrete, and damp. A single, flickering bulb cast trembling shadows that stretched like claws along the corridor. As Alex descended deeper, the silence became suffocating. His chest ached from adrenaline and fear, but he couldn't stop now. He had to know what they were hiding beneath the hospital his brother once worked in, and died for. He reached a metal door labeled Sublevel 3, Biocontainment. The card reader blinked red, then turned green when he slid Daniel's badge. Inside, the sterile chill intensified. Racks of labeled vials and cryotubes lined the walls. Screens displayed data streams and images of patients, of organs, of symbols. The same mark that had glowed on Elena's neck appeared repeatedly on the monitors, each labeled with a code, Project Lazarus. Alex's throat tightened. It wasn't a mark, it was a seal. A tracking imprint burned into the nervous system. He scrolled through one of the terminal logs. The entries were clinical, detached, subject A17. Reanimation successful. Cognitive suppression initiated. Subject A18. Escaped containment. Terminated. Subject A19. Awaiting retrieval. Classified Elena Vasilyev. A low beep echoed behind him. He spun around and froze. A security drone hovered at the far end of the hall, its lens locked on him. "Unauthorized presence detected," a mechanical voice announced. He bolted, ducking behind a storage cabinet as the drone fired a stun pulse that crackled against the metal wall. Sparks lit up the corridor. He stumbled, his mind racing for a way out, when he saw a maintenance hatch near the floor. He pried it open and crawled through, scraping his hands on the rusted edges. The tunnel was narrow, filled with cables and dripping pipes. He crawled for what felt like forever until the tunnel opened into a small chamber and stopped short. There, behind reinforced glass, lay rows of pods. Each one contained a person, pale, motionless, marked with the same symbol. Monitors above them blinked softly with faint heartbeats, and in the first pod, her eyes suddenly opened. Elena. Her gaze met his through the glass. Clear, terrified, and unmistakably alive. She mouthed something he couldn't hear, but he read it on her lips. "They're coming." The floor vibrated with the sound of approaching boots and the metallic hum of machinery powering up. Alex pressed his trembling hand against the glass, his mind spinning. He could still run. He could still save himself. But he thought of Daniel, of every patient erased from records, of the mark that burned beneath Elena's skin. The pod lights began to flicker, one by one, as power surged through the chamber. A cold voice rang out from the intercom above. "Unauthorized access detected. Seal chamber." Steel doors began to close around him. Alex glanced at Elena, her eyes wide, pleading, and made a decision. He slammed his brother's card into the nearest console and hit override. The alarms screamed, the pods hissed open, and white mist filled the air. He didn't know what he had unleashed. Only that, for the first time in years, the truth. 242 was no longer buried, and as the mist cleared, Elena stepped out, barefoot, trembling, and alive, while the world above had no idea the dead were waking.